good, YouTube? A lot of people use the word spiritual to describe themselves, right? Unfortunately, the word has become so cliche, so played out. And like many of you remember the videos I've done about the word friend or friends, right? A word that is often misused, right? A word that most people, I would say, don't really understand, don't really grasp the meaning. What's good, Jingy? Cheers, Davy V. Good to see you. Davy V TV, good to see you. Good to see you. It's going to be a short video. But again, I get these random kind of, vibes, random thoughts, right? And much like a writer, which I am a writer. By the way, check out my man. What's good? Davy, Scotland, watching, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm trying to see the, trying to read the messages, but at the same time, keep my eye on the road, right? So I apologize ahead of time if I missed one or two. David D'Angelo, good morning from Davy D. So nice to see you this morning. And nice to see you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you, David. If I'm not mistaken, David from Henrietta, New York. Andy, be safe. You too. One attached to another by affection or esteem. Absolutely. But here's the thing. So nice to see everyone. Appreciate each and every one of you, like I always say, for taking your time out to tune in and watch my videos, right? Watch my lives. Appreciate that. There is a lot of hypocrisy in today's world. There is a lot of people who one has to be very, very careful with. Okay? I'll make other videos on this topic, but I just wanted to nail it down. And like I was saying earlier, just wanted to put a pin in it, right? And it's something that we will come back to on other videos, on other lives. Because it's kind of a deep subject. Nice you remember. That's awesome. Love watching your videos. Your passion is a breath of fresh air in this crazy place we live in. Thank you, David. Absolutely. I try to remember, my friend. I try. You know how it is when you get older, right? But I'm still pretty good with the old memory bank there. So listen, like I said, I'm not going to get too long-winded, drag on with this, right? It's not going to be a big rant. Sorry about the shaky camera. But there are people that one has to be very careful with. And this goes for relationships. This goes for friendships. I'm going to be honest with you. And this is why I love this interaction, especially the live with the viewers, right? With each and every one of you. Because, there are things that I need to also be honest about me, right? As a person, as a man, right? I've always been the type of person, and we hear the saying over and over again, right? That wears his heart on his sleeve. I know most of you are used to seeing the screaming, bald-headed or shaven head, whatever you want to call it. Let me take a snapshot of this. I'll get to that later. That comment was a little too long to read. I'm trying to keep my eye on the road. I'm going to pull over somewhere actually, on the route to where I'm going. So I've always been the type of person, and it's always been one of my biggest flaws, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's on the way to building a friendship with someone, right? I've always been the type of person to wear my heart on my sleeve. And It was just the definition of friend. Okay, real Jingy, I'll definitely get to see it. It's just that it was a little long and since I'm driving, but I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a, you know, people misuse that word a lot, as you know. I've talked about that in other videos. But as far as me, and this is just being open and being real with you guys, right? And girls. I'm too trusting. And as I'm getting older, in a perfect world, when we get older, we get wiser, right? Or that's the way it's supposed to be, right? Doesn't always what normally would happen, right? You get older, you get wiser, you get more experience, right? You learn from your mistakes, right? And I think it's literally a work in progress, at least for me, maybe for some of you as well. But I'm too trusting. And I tend to open up too quick, too fast with people. And I think it's because almost of a hunger, for lack of a better way of putting it, it's funny, this whole social media thing can be good, and it could also be one of the most loneliest, most isolating things you can imagine. I know some people that I've said this to in person in conversations, and perhaps some of you right now on the other side of this video may be like, what? What do you mean? You know, you're known, people know who you are, you know, your face and your videos and your blog, and, you know, you're all over the internet. Well, life is a work in progress. Don't be so hard on yourself, mate. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, my man. Thank you. And I'm not. It's not that I'm being hard. It's just that I wanted to share something with you. Hunger for connection with another human being, nothing wrong with it. Absolutely. I'm sorry. I try to read that fast. No, absolutely. And it's not so much that I'm being hard on myself. It's that, you know, part of what I want to do here, like I've always said, this channel is going to be much more than just police accountability, right? More than advocating for and informing and, you know, some folks on like the right to record, and it's going to be sharing a lot of stuff, you know, and it goes two ways. Don't forget what I said in another video, that this is as much your platform as it is mine. So feel free to share. I'm actually gonna, me too, I trust people way too much. I definitely open myself up and usually get hurt. I didn't catch the last sentence, but absolutely. I'm glad that some of you could at least relate to what I'm saying, because sometimes it's a lot easier, a lot better if one can actually relate, like, hey, I've been there. Hey, that sounds like me. And that's what the sharing is about, right? So again, I'm trying to do different things with this channel and make it more varied, more open, right? Literally more open to you, and then more open about myself, which ironically is something that I'm talking about that I open up too much and too quick to people. So I don't know. It's, you know, it's a mixed bag kind of thing. Let me park here real quick so we can kick it for a little bit, right? Let's kick it for a little bit. Hold on. Got Scotland in the house, got Henrietta in the house, Rochester in the house. Hold on. Excuse me. All right, let's kick it for a little bit. So I'm too trusting, and I open up to people too much, too fast, too quick, however you want to call it. And that could be a bad thing. You know, relationships, and especially, I mean, you know, intimate relationships. I've been single for a while, you know, without sharing too much, too fast, right? But especially intimate relationships, you know, they take time to form, to develop. We're a group of people who feel a need to connect. That is human. I believe it stems from stresses we felt as children. That's deep. That is very deep, and I'm sure there's some correlation. And hello, watching from Manchester, UK, Urban Gypsy. Thank you, UK. Love my fans overseas. Love all my fans, but it's special to be connecting through this electronic box that I'm, you know, basically talking into, right? Talking into a lens, recording a video that is at the same time being transmitted overseas across the pond. So shout out to everyone in the UK. The only bad thing about trusting is the people who take advantage. Very true, Andy. Very true, my friend. And that's kind of where I'm going. So here's the thing. I want to kind of try to be concise here. Cheers, Urban Gypsy. Great to see you. Yep, Real Jingy. I love that, by the way, when you guys interact with each other, you guys and girls. Real Jingy shouting out Real Gypsy, Urban Gypsy from UK. So let me turn the car off and save some gas, right? It can be bad to open up too fast to people. And that is one of my biggest flaws. And oftentimes it has backfired. You know, this isn't a video about calling anyone out or, you know, bashing anyone, because, you know, it's you know, I refuse to go down to a certain level, right? But it's more a video about sharing a little bit with you all and encouraging each and every one of you watching this to be very careful. Whether it's an intimate relationship, whether it's your girlfriend, whether it's your boyfriend, your significant other. Urban Gypsy says, at Real Jingy, been watching Davy for a while now. Appreciate it. Much love to the UK. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And the thing about relationships, you know, again, whether intimate or whether in the form of a friendship, is that it takes a long time, in my opinion, to develop. And that's why I feel at the end of the day, I don't really consider myself to have any real friends, right? And back to the thing I was saying about the whole Davy V thing, I've had this conversation with people, and people find it hard to believe that this whole social media presence in life can be lonely. Let me tell you, you have no idea how lonely it can be. There's a lot of isolation. No disrespect or offense meant to any one of you, but you know people through a name, through a username, and that's the times we live in. That's the internet. And I'm not knocking it. It's very good. I mean, I just got done saying that here I am connecting with Urban Gypsy in the UK, and I'm in Rochester, New York, in a parking lot, you know, in cold, cloudy, dark Rochester, New York. So it can be very good. And it also can be very, very isolating and very lonely. As many of you know, my work, my outspokenness, my calling it how it is or what it is or whatever you guys use to describe how I do what I do, right? That keeps you coming back for more, right? Tuning in, especially for these lives. Whatever it is, Real Jingy says, all good. LOL, still good to see you. Davy VTV having no friends, safety, right? No danger of ever feeling. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to explain. I get approached all the time in public as far as, oh, you know, Davy V, I've had a young man with his mom, you know, maybe a young man about 19, 20 years old was with his mom. This is a couple years ago at a local Wegmans here. Wegmans, for those of you that don't know, it's a big supermarket, food market here. And which originated in Rochester, New York. And the young man asked to take a picture. And, you know, it's one of the first times somebody had ever asked to take a picture with me. But it was a fan, you know, much like all of you right now. And I thought that was real special. And that, you know, it's a good feeling that somebody, you know, cares about what you do enough, likes what you do, is interested in what you do enough to the point that they want to introduce you to their mom. What's up for the Bronx? What's good? Second Amendment. Much love. BX in the house. Mad love for BX. Thank you for tuning in. I thought it was special. I thought it was like, wow, you know, it kind of just makes your day, right? Another time at the same Wegmans, actually, Real Jingy says, hey, Bronx. At the same Wegmans, a little bit later, a young man named Tim was with his daughter, a young father, you know, maybe a gentleman. And that's because you always keep it real. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate that. Same Wegmans where the young man asked to take a photo with me and introduce me to his mom. At the same Wegmans, maybe a year later, a father with his daughter approached me in the aisle, actually in the Hot Wheels aisle, because those of you know that I love Hot Wheels. I'm going to be putting the videos up. I collect Hot Wheels, Matchbox. Second Amendment. Davey, love your content. You keep it real. Thank you. I appreciate you. Shout out to the BX. Haven't been up there in a while. I have to come through there. Westchester, Fordham Avenue, the White Castle, under the train. That's all I remember. White Castle under the train near Westchester. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right or if it's still there. So that was special. And the father basically told me, the one that was with his daughter, told me something very deep that always has stayed with me. And I'll never forget. I will never forget this. And it shows the power of the internet, and it speaks to you guys and girls right now watching. He said, Davy, everybody doesn't comment, but just know that there are a lot of eyes watching you and watching what you do. Sound view. That's right. Sound view, Bronx. And what he meant was, you know, we're watching. LOL, Hot Wheels collected. Do you have any Hot Wheel video reviews? Haha, love it. Oh, I will. Trust me. It's a lot of Hot Wheel stuff coming at you. Actually, if you scroll back 5, 6, 7, 8 videos or 9 videos, I don't know, you'll see a little teaser where I said coming soon. I said it's an addiction, and I'm taking video of all my Hot Wheels. Trust me. A lot of those videos. Good morning. Kumanina, I'm sorry, Ascari. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. It says morning, Davy. Thank you. Where are you tuning in from? I apologize if I forget. I know you've been on the lives before. So, I know I'm ranting here, but I'll look for it. Cool. Absolutely cool. Just trying to make, you know, the channel varied. And it's hard because I want to interact with all of you and say hi and, you know, read your comments. Kansas, that's right. Kansas in the house. Thank you. But look, back to the subject about trust. It's very hard, you know. And some people claim to be good. Real Jingy. Hey, cheers at Kumanina Ascari. So good to see you in here. I love that. Keep that going, guys and girls. That interaction between you. That's what the platform is about. It may say Davy VTV in it, but it's your platform as much as it is mine. Everyone's welcome there, including law enforcement, which I want to make sure. It was a comment. I'm not going to name any names. A comment someone left a while back bashing law enforcement and saying that, you know, they shouldn't be on here. And I totally, completely disagree. Law enforcement is absolutely welcomed on this channel. And in fact, I encourage law enforcement to watch the videos and maybe even learn a little something. And I don't mean that in any demeaning fashion. I mean, maybe be inspired or learn a little bit. You know, I would think that something out of this channel you can take and apply to your careers in law enforcement. So, you know, some people that you meet, you just have to be careful opening up to. You have to be careful. And it's not to say they're bad. It's just that I believe one has to be kind of guarded, you know, kind of careful with opening up too fast, too quick, too soon, too much with people. There are folks out here who are very hypocritical. All friends here. Absolutely, Andy. There are folks who come across pretending to be genuine, pretending to be sincere, right? Another way of putting it, genuine, sincere. And there are folks who pretend. They pretend a lot. They pretend to be spiritual. And a lot of people use that word. I'm spiritual. I'm into the universe. I'm spiritual. How you doing, Roger? Thank you for tuning in, my man. Roger says, hi, Davy. And one has to be very careful. LOM says the dude sitting on your back seat listening to you roll while I play a game on a self. Here's my thing. Be very careful. You know, we'll do other videos about this. I don't want to get on a long rant. But I'll say this in closing. There are people who pretend to be and use the word spiritual. And yet they're very hypocritical. They're very judgmental, right? They're very irrational people, okay? Very primitive in nature, right? And lack compassion. Second Amendment, all the cops have to do is hold the United States Constitution and not be slaves. I missed the last part. You know, a lot of these folks pretend to be spiritual and use that word so loosely. For me, it's hard. I give people much chance to start, but I'm a very good guy and get taken advantage of. Absolutely. Same here, David. Same here. Same here. That's why I'm making this video, my man. I really do give peeps a chance. I do too. And I'm not perfect. I want to make sure that that is out here. It's not about judging others, but I just meet people in my life who I tend to gravitate to, at least at the beginning, who I tend to open up to and share stuff about me and my life, right? And my history, such as my dad. And then I quickly see that the people, that something ain't right. You know what I mean? It's hard to describe. It's like when you're in a relationship and you just know that it doesn't click, it doesn't vibe. It's just not working, you know? The word spiritual is a buzzword meant to provoke and induce an illusion of listening on the listening parties. Absolutely. Andy, it's the cost mentality of always being right. Absolutely. So look, you know, to me, spiritual, you know, when I grew up on Sesame Street, right? One of the shows I watched as a kid, Sesame Street. And one of my favorite segments in the show Sesame Street with Big Bird and Grouch and, you know, Grover, Cookie Monster, right? Who can forget Cookie Monster? Bert, Ernie. One of my favorite segments was which one doesn't belong, right? Have an apple, have a banana, you have a hammer. Obviously, the hammer doesn't belong, right? The other two are fruits. The banana, the apple, the hammer doesn't belong. And to me, when people use the word spiritual, there are certain things that to me, a true spiritual person, a person who is truly and genuinely connected with the universe and loves nature, right? Loves animals, would act more loving. The Count, that's right, the Count on Sesame Street. Number one. Probably not doing it the best, but he would do the numbers. But to me, what doesn't belong with the word spiritual, I love stories of your pops. The story of your hopping in the car was such, the process, which such a strange and interesting story. Yeah, we'll get to that one day. That was crazy. I'm glad you do, David. I think the biggest problem have their own egos, not allowing themselves to have faith. Very true. I think egos get in the way of a lot of stuff. But to me, what doesn't belong with the word spiritual, I always felt like I was the one that did not belong. Huh? LOL, LOL, Jingy. I think we all feel like that at times, right? To me, what doesn't belong with the word spiritual or somebody being spiritual is words like judgmental, right? Divisive, hatred, right? They try to have Cookie Monster eat vegetables that didn't last long. LOL. That's funny. I missed that show. The more and more we're talking about it now, right? And I don't know. Look, I'm going to wrap it up because I tend to get too long-winded here and fire it up. But just be careful in life. And I'll say this, you know, I truly believe that you can gain and learn something from everyone that comes into your life. And I mean something good. And I'm grateful for, you know, people that I've met. I'm not trying to bash anyone here. It's not about calling anyone out. You notice I'm not naming any names, and I refuse to go to that level, at least at this point. But, you know, one can get easily hurt in being open and opening up to people too fast, too soon, right? Too much. And that's always been one of my biggest flaws. Take it easy. Give it time. Anything, what's the saying? Worth the wait is, I forget the saying. Somebody help me. Good things come to those who wait, along those lines. You know what I mean. Be very careful in general. Whether it's a significant other, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or just a friend. In my case, I'm talking more about someone I trusted as a friend, right? This person was a male friend, and someone who talked a lot about, please be safe, you are for real, you rock, thanks for letting me get on here and talk. Absolutely, David, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the kind words. You know, someone that I shared too much, too quick with about my life, about my dad, and somebody who I'll say, you know, came across, at least at the beginning, as being different than what I soon learned. At the same time, I learned some good things from this person. Patience is a virtue that should be cherished in all aspects of our lives. Absolutely, Raj. Absolutely. And back to the thing about learning, it's not about bashing anyone. I believe everyone that comes into your life, anything worth doing is worth doing right. Hunter S. Thompson. Yes. Yes. Love that. Love that saying. I believe people really do come into your life, whether good or bad, for a reason. Andy Taylor. Peace out, Davy. Have yourself a good one. You change, they win. Absolutely. Never that. Stay always me. And thank you, Andy. So I don't know. It's I truly believe at the end of the day, you learn something good from everyone. And but it hurts because again, I'm the type of person to open up. And I think it's that thirst for what I don't get, and no offense to anyone, but with the whole social media thing, again, we most of us will probably never meet, and it's good. I love kicking it with you guys and girls, but at the same time, there's a side to the whole Davy V thing that's just hard to explain. You know, people have asked before, is it a character you play? Are you always, you know, that passionate? And it's not a character, it's me. I mean, my name is David. The whole Davy V thing, you know, took off and took kind of a life of its own. And I think it's precisely that. As much publicity, as much as my face is all over, as much as my videos are watched by, you know, Andy in the UK, for example, or Urban Gypsy, right? Andy in Scotland and Urban Gypsy in the UK. At the same time, it's, you know, it's weird. It's just hard to explain. It's, you know, as much followers or fans or viewers or whatever you want to call it, one has, and maybe this is how some like Hollywood celebrities feel. There's also this feeling of, you know, I've attracted the haters, I've attracted the trolls, my family has been threatened, my children have been stalked at school, right? And my cars have been vandalized and broken into. It's a funny, just, and I don't mean funny like funny, I mean just interesting thing that's hard to explain. And it's one of those things, like I talked about another live video I did yesterday. It's like a little window into my life, and it's hard to explain unless you felt it and experienced it for yourself. Just how crazy having this public persona thing can be, where your face is basically all over the internet. It's good in many ways. You feel together when live, but you're still alone. Absolutely. That right there captured it perfect. Real Jingy. Perfect. You know, one still feels very, very alone. And it's fine. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love, you know what I mean? I've always been the type of person, you know, people used to look at me weird. I've gone to movies by myself. I've enjoyed a lot of stuff by myself. I walk by myself. And people used to be like, by yourself? Because I think, I don't know where in life we're conditioned or trained to, you know, think that we always have to do stuff in groups, right? That we always have to, you know, be with someone. And I don't believe in that. Miss Constitutional, thank you for tuning in. And I don't believe in that. You know, I enjoy doing a lot of stuff by myself, and I've gotten used to it. And I actually really do enjoy it. But what I mean is there's still this aspect that, you know, when I meet someone and we tend to click on different interests, right? We have common interests. There's this urge to open up to someone. And I think that you guys and girls can learn something maybe from me if you don't know this already, and maybe I'm the one that's learning it and you already know it because everyone's different. That one really needs to be very careful who one trusts, who one opens up with, and how much you open up with someone. Hello, Mrs. Constitutional says, hey, Davy. So again, be very careful in your relationships and trusting people. I'm not saying don't trust anyone. Andy Taylor, to all those people who hate, get a life. So much negative energy wasted. Absolutely. So true, Andy. So again, Thank you, everyone, for watching. We're going to do more personal videos like this. I always joke, everything's not always going to be Davy V jumping out, recording a cop, right? Or recording some police activity, right? It's going to be different things, right? And a lot of personal stuff where we're just sharing. And feel free to share, too. But listen, shout out to all the new subscribers. A lot of more videos on the way. Hot Wheel videos coming soon. And please take care of yourself. And just be careful in life. With relationships, with friendships. Take it slow. Be careful who you trust. Come on out. Thank you for sharing, Davy. Absolutely. What's good, Kim? Howdy, Davy. Kim says howdy, Davy. So again, thank you at Davy VTV. So good to see you live this morning. Love sitting in with you, bro. Thank you, Real Jingy. All right, that wraps it up. Coming back at you soon. Hot Wheel videos on the way. We're going to put a lot of different varied videos here. So if you stick along for the ride, I promise it'll be interesting. A lot of different things. A lot of different sides to me, to Davy V. More than just this Cuban guy recording cops and, you know, yelling into an iPhone, right? Love each and every one of you. Have a great day. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Thank you. Peace.